It's me again.
It's me again.
Something about an old man.
What a line. What a lyric. Where you once stood was an old man instead. Hot.
If you're just joining us, which you are because we only just started the podcast.
Right.
This is Blighty Day Fiancé.
She is Michelle.
He is Robin.
Mm-hmm. And we were reminiscing about old Take That songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy days, happy days.
They weren't, to my recollection, they didn't quite take off in America, although I could be very wrong because that wasn't really my speed at the time. I almost exclusively listened to angry girl music.
Right. I think, Never Forget, the song they made when they broke up was, the first thing that did anything. And Back for Good. I think Back for Good charted in the States.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 14?
You were 3 years old. You were just a twinkle in an old man's eye standing in the doorway of an ex. Can you imagine little Mark Owen going up to his ex-girlfriend's house, knocking on the door? Hello, it's Mark Owen. I've come to see my ex-girl. Oh. Oh, no, you're an old man.
It was probably Gandalf.
It might have been Gandalf. Maybe she hadn't moved. Maybe Gandalf had just sort of broken into the house. Or maybe Gandalf had turned her into another Gandalf. Anything could be the case. Did you know Mark Owen did a solo album back in the very early days of Take That?
But before we get there, it might surprise you to learn that this podcast is about reality TV dating shows. We're a married couple based in London. You can probably hear it from our accents, but I am not British.
No.
Him indoors over there is British.
Yes.
And
the bulldog is French.
He is French.
The pugler is Prussian.
Yes, she is.
She identifies.
That's how
as
she
Prussian.
identifies. She was assigned English at birth.
Right.
So we'll get into the Mark Owen story in a minute. I just want you all to know.
You know what? I'm going to save all this stuff for the Patreon. I'm also going to save my juicy Robbie Williams story. There's a promise.
That is a good story.
Yeah.
I do like that one. Speaking of our Patreon is back in action thanks to our wonderful producer, Cousin Dan.
Thank you, Cousin Dan.
Congratulations to Cousin Dan on leaving one job and starting another.
Bang.
Found a full-time gig that sounds very fun. And so felicitaciones and all that good stuff. Hopefully they will still find time to produce this here podcast.
Cousin Dan's magic. They're like Doctor Strange or something. They can just make more time.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's an astonishing gift.
So, yes, kudos to Cousin Dan, kudos to Peggy Ann, who is coming on board as our social media person, helping us get the word out. You can help get the word out by leaving us a review.
Yeah, go on.
We are in dire need of reviews at present because the most recent ones have been, I think a kind word for it would be deranged.
Oh, no, we're not doing this again.
No, I don't understand the point of leaving a 1-star review and the comment is we do or do not have this in a certain country within Britain.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so leave us a review.
Hey, are we not the top 20 TV?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago we were.
TV recaps, and that's not just reality shows or anything. That's all TV recaps.
We were a couple weeks ago.
It's astonishing.
And now we need your help to get back up there.
Yeah, I want to be number one.
Yeah, hopefully one day. Look, we are doing our best. If you're worried about the pace or the manner of my speech, as I have previously disclosed, I am both titrating, which means going off of prescription medications and going on new ones. Every now and then, like I did just now, probably much to Robin's horror, I grabbed my chest because I get random heart palpitations. My eyelid will start twitching. It also affects my cognition and the rate of my speech, which is halting in the best of times, partly due to my being neurodivergent. But if it's too slow for you, you are more than welcome to adjust the speed on your podcast player of choice.
Yeah, and the benefit is that I'll go incredibly fast like this and I'll just talk, blah, 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 which is good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll all be fine.
Do
you mind if I finish the announcements real quick?
So,
patreon.com/blightyday. You will find not only ad-free episodes of what we are already covering, we are also adding a program that we're calling the Fundy Bus, which will be a combination of Sister Wives and Plathville. When Plathville returns, it'll just be Sister Wives in the meantime. You're not going to want to miss it. Our Sister Wives recaps have been described as adequate and not in a format to my liking by past listeners. So you won't want to miss out on that. We are also a little bit less guarded in the Patreon. Robin will share stories about his time as a music journaliste and a TV producer, which, again, contrary to what some have alleged, he really was. I think that's it for announcements.
It is worth saying. Our Patreon is very much like, show your love. We do our very, very best to produce things. It's a bit like this as well, but particularly with Michelle going through a really, really tough time right now. We ain't making no promises to no one, but we will always do our best because we love it.
So basically on the Patreon, everybody is on the same tier. The minimum donation, I think, is $5. I don't think you can choose your own, but you can do 5, 10, or 15. The content's not separated by tiers. Obviously, any shekels you throw our way go toward our ability to create more content. And obviously, the more we get in our coffers in the Patreon, the more we're able to pay people to do things that are difficult for us, especially during these tender times.
Right.
So those are the announcements. Today we're talking about 90 days, unless there's anything you need to add.
Only that the bulldog has never been cuter, and you need to look at him.
Yeah, he's doing his face down.
So cute. But I should just say there are children playing in the sports field next door, which means there's going to be a lot of barking. So apologies for that. Anyway, 90 Day UK, 90 da fuck.
Now, we did miss last week, for which we apologize. Mm-hmm. We did do a Facebook Live 90-day, what we call a 90-day omnibus, where we do 90-day before the 90 and 90-day the other way. We are very grateful to all of you who watched and participated in that. It kind of felt to us like a car crash in slow motion.
Clown car on fire.
Clown car on fire, that's another good description. But we did our best, and boy, did we have fun interacting with you all. That meant the absolute world. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who has written messages of support. If you are one of those people who thinks, she's too busy to read this, or I shouldn't, or my story isn't, I'm never too busy. I respond to everything as soon as I can, and I might be doing myself a disservice here, but I am not inundated with messages.
Hit us up on Facebook. Blighty Day Bays, BLIGHTYDAYBAES is the group on Facebook. It's a really good way to meet us, or send us an email, blightydayfiance@gmail.com.
We're also on Instagram at Blighty Day. Blighty again is spelled BLIGHTYD. That's Blighty Day altogether. We're not so much on whatever Twitter is called now. I refuse to call it by that name.
Yeah. Drex.
It's not a nice environment for me, and I need to be careful. We're on the TikToks as well. You can see, but I've forgotten what our handle is on that. If you search Blighty Day Fiance, you'll find it.
It'll be fine.
It'll be chipmunk videos. And again, all of this is going to improve exponentially thanks to Peggy Ann. No pressure, Peggy Ann. We love you. Okay, so we will just take each couple at a time, if that's all right with you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Christian and Rebecca.
Newbies.
New ones
to us, right? We haven't done them before, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
What I'm about to say probably won't surprise you. I am over men like this permanently. I don't find them attractive, not even physically. It's not giving anything that she couldn't find down the street from her. As in, if you want a controlling misogynist man baby.
They're quite rare, aren't they? They're very hard to find.
No, they are everywhere and come in every shape and size. And you don't need to pay for one to come live with you.
You really don't. I will say predominantly they come in that shape and size. Or rather, that shape and size very often has those characteristics. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think there's an overcompensation, right?
The whole thing just makes me really sad. And the saddest thing in all of this is that I think many of us can relate to not being able to break out of old patterns and not really understanding that despite the fact that we've done this before, and I'm not just talking about her ex-husband or the Turkish guy that she was married to for a day or whatever. She's been in many relationships like this. She has been in this very relationship again and again with different people, but they're all the same person. They're all the same archetype.
What it is, it's like when you're down at a roulette table, right? You're down $500 at a roulette table, and so you go, oh, well, one more $500 bet will get me back even, right? And so you do it again, and then you're down $1,000, and so you bet $1,000 to try and get even, and then you're down $2,000, and on it goes. But always you just think, I'm, one spin of the wheel away from at least being back to where I was. And I think that's what it is with her. Like, things have gone wrong, so she's not just trying to fix where she is now, she's trying to fix her entire past.
Yeah.
And it can't be done. It can't be done. It doesn't work like that. Like, I don't fix your historical hardships, right?
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing I can do about your first husband. There's nothing I can do about other relationships you've had that have been bad. There's nothing I can do about the many grievances that have been enacted upon you. There's nothing I can do about that. I can do things about where you are right now, but like, history's a bit of a fucker in that sense. It's locked.
Yeah.
The present and the future are in flux, but history is locked.
I think some of the difficulties that we've had, not so much now, but early on in our relationship, was breaking out of the cycles that we were used to.
Yeah.
And having to become aware that what we were reacting to in the other person was our own
ghosts.
Old stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Just lingering ghosts of things that should be left for dead.
I don't have anything more to say. I feel bad for her again.
She's lovely. she's talented, she's smart, she seems to have a good family and support network, but this is, it's her albatross, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes to break this habit, and what worries me, and look, I don't want to, I've seen this go down a number of ways, right? Partly down to my own experience and partly down to the people that I've worked with or volunteered with in various capacities. This is never a story that ends well. And if you're in a relationship with somebody who, for whatever reason, doesn't accept you, doesn't encourage your passions, provided your passions aren't, torturing people or vandalizing things, provided your passions don't hurt anybody else. If you're not with somebody who's supporting and enabling that, and they're making your life smaller instead of expanding it.
Yeah, that's he knew before he went and saw her dance what she does. Like this, I didn't think it was that. Well, look at a few videos on YouTube, pal. You'll get an idea, right? And then there's her going, I didn't really reveal to him how It's not up to you. It's not up to you to tell him shit. If he's got an issue with something, you can look into it. He can ask you questions, maybe. I mean, I don't know if she lied to him. I suppose that could be an issue. I'm fully dressed from the head to toe and I stand at the other end of a room, but I don't think she did that. And I know full well that's exactly what that kind of dancing is in restaurants, right? It's a tip generation machine, right? Like it, don't like it.
There's just
It is what it is. And to be surprised or scandalized is just ridiculous. And he's lying as well. He wasn't surprised or scandalized. He knew exactly what he was going to get, and he enjoyed the opportunity to control and to be the wounded party. I've seen relationships like this so many times.
Small point of order. If she felt like she had to lie to him in the first place, that's also a huge red flag. That's also control.
Yeah.
If you're with somebody and you feel like you have to lie to them over something that
you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Then that is their problem and not yours. And again, it's control. It's like the antimatter side of control, right?
I'm just saying, I don't think his dick is that big. I don't think, and even if it was or wasn't, I don't think he's good in bed. I don't think he's a generous lover. I don't think that he is bringing anything to the table.
I don't think he's got good employment prospects. I don't think he's particularly good looking. I don't think he's smart. I don't think he's funny. Why is she wasting her time on this loser?
Because she thinks she's a loser and she wants to prove to herself that she can, just by being her, she can change a loser into a non-loser.
All right.
Yeah, let's get all the sad ones out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, Katie and Alejandro. I'm just gonna come out and say this.
Okay.
And this might disappoint you all, and that's a risk that I have to take.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about this relationship and this wedding and what may or may not have transpired between them. Katie is a person who's been very forthcoming about her mental health and her personal life. And I think if you have questions for her, you can ask them and have a reasonable prospect of getting an answer. I'm aware that she's not doing very well right now, and I don't want to add to that. So I don't want to talk about this, except to say, for those of you who are critical, of what her mother and grandmother wore to the wedding. That is what all British nans and aunties and mums wear to weddings. Every last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not in the winter. Maybe in the winter you're not going to see a floral pattern.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, they all shop at the same shop that Holly shopped in South Africa.
Yes.
Right? There's this one shop. And everyone goes to South Africa. Actually, I found a shop in Shepherd's Bush in London once that sold those kinds of brown suits that men that never wear suits wear. You know the ones, those slightly
that look
shiny...
like camel scrotums.
They look like camel scrotums. And I've always thought, where do people buy these? When you see like a guy on a court appearance or something.
Yeah,
right?
the accused.
Yeah, the accused.
Yeah.
Never worn a suit before, right? And I'm like, I go into shops fancy and flat and, you know, all scales of the, you know, pricing repertoire, right? And I've never seen suits like this. And I found the shop. It's in Shepherd's Bush. And that's the shop. I finally found it. But yeah, there is there's a love of those kind of polyester. What is taffeta? I want to say taffeta. I want to say taffeta. It's a fabric, right?
Yeah, not for that.
I want to say taffeta, but it might be the wrong word.
It is the wrong word.
Okay.
You're thinking of something completely different.
All right.
I'm just saying, Americans might look at that look with confusion and think, well, why are you dressed to go to, we call it the Derby here, but the Derby.
Yeah.
You do wear something similar
to
a Derby. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those hats are called fascinators. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, sometimes they're pieces. They're often made by a haberdasher who makes hats specifically.
What's the name of a hat maker? There's a really good word for a hat maker, and it's gone from my head. And
that's a haberdasher.
No,
is it not?
I'm going to pause. Unpause. A milliner. Milliner.
Do you know where the phrase "mad as a hatter" comes from?
No.
It's because in Victorian times, whatever they were using to make the hats, because, you know, people used daft materials all the time. They put lead in the paint. They put arsenic and whatever and various dyes and that.
So to make hats, they were using like lead or something, and it made the hatters mad.
I believe it was mercury, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where the phrase hasn't got a pot to piss in comes from?
Not having a chamber pot?
No.
What?
So that stems from back in the day when people would actually sell their piss to tanners.
What?
Yeah. For tanning leather. And if you go to some parts of the world, you will still see this being done. Like I went to Marrakesh and they would tan the leather with urine, right? That's what you do to leather, right? That's how you treat leather, right? Mm-hmm. So you could make money from your piss. It's a little bit like, you know, in the States you have the 5-cent bottle return.
Yeah.
Kind of, what's that called? Deposit scheme.
Sure.
Yeah. So when you finish with your bottle of Coke, you can get 5 cents back if you recycle it, right?
Not if you pee in it.
Not if you pee in it. No. That's Pepsi. I prefer Pepsi.
Pepsi's piss already, so no, we're not going to talk about that.
So yeah, you would make a little bit of money by giving your urine to tanners. But if you were so poor, you didn't have a pot to piss in and take your urine to the tanner, you were fucked. So that's where that phrase comes from. It's like, you're not just like on Skid Row, like you can't even make money from your piss.
Wow.
It's a good one, isn't it?
I mean, it's unbearably sad, but yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So look, I'm sorry if you're disappointed that I don't want to cover that. I'm not showing favoritism. I'm aware that this particular person is
I think we can all agree.
going through something difficult, and she's she's been very kind to us, and I'm not here to pile it on. And there's plenty of people who are covering it.
We adore her. I have always liked Alejandro. I personally don't know what on earth the situation is, what's happened. What I will say is, I think we can all agree it's a very unsatisfying ending. Whether it's the best they could do, I don't know. It's sad, maybe a bit of a mess. We'll leave it where it is.
Yeah. Mercy and Michael, is it?
Sure. Well, you're looking at me as if one of my defining characteristics is
is that you remember names.
I have no memory for names. I also have no memory for faces. People are always one or the other. I have neither. I cannot do it. So, like when we watch, a TV show like a drama, genuinely, Michelle has to like say that's Rebecca Ferguson. That is, whoever.
Rashida Jones.
Sure. Because I will not know. And the second, she says it, I'll go, yeah, obviously, because then it makes complete sense to me. But it's like a kind of visual dyslexia or something. I don't know.
And I have the complete opposite, where I don't remember names either, particularly not names of places. But when I'm watching a TV show or a movie, Robin, how many times have I knocked it out of the park, even with tertiary character actors?
You are amazing. You are amazing at it.
I can identify someone that I haven't seen since the late 80s on TV.
Yeah, they've aged 40 years.
Yeah.
And they were in the background of some scene in some Merchant Ivory or something.
See, I have these incredible talents, but they're completely they're
useless.
Not. Yeah. You can't monetize them.
You can't monetize that. You could be a casting agent, but I don't know. So
look, Mercy is experiencing what's commonly known as clinical depression.
Can I lead with a rant on this? Is that all right?
Please go ahead.
All right, I have had enough of the angry black woman trope that reality shows seem to really love putting on my screen. Without explanation, without any kind of a sympathetic view, without really getting... Tig agrees. Without really discussing things with them, without trying to understand where they might be coming from. All they show is the angry black woman being angry and black. And I've flipping had enough of it. I really have. We stopped covering Married at First Sight UK the last time round. It was the last time round.
Yeah.
For this exact reason. And they're doing exactly the same thing with Mercy. And I'm not having it. I'm just not having it. From my perspective, she is absolutely entitled to be massively overwhelmed and probably quite unwell. It's a huge culture shock. It's massive fish out of water. She doesn't have access to any money. She doesn't have access to any transport. She doesn't have access to any friends. She doesn't have access to any therapy or counselling in any way. The weather is going to completely mess with her head. And so she's not handling it brilliantly. But the way it's edited and the way they make it look is angry black woman, and I've fucking had enough of it. Thank you.
Right. Moving right along.
Wow, nothing to add?
No, you've said it all. Right. I mean, I personally didn't experience it as an angry black woman trope. I thought that I could just sympathize with her. I mean, hot tip, if you're moving to the UK or thinking about moving to England, absolutely come in the winter. Do not come in the summer, because if you're used to living anywhere else, except for another country that has 4 seasons or has a worse climate than we do, don't come in the summer, because when winter hits, it'll be brutal. And also...
Well, you're like, pull the Band-Aid off, get it over with.
Well, when I first moved here, I came in the winter, and I was very glad of it, because I got every upper respiratory virus known to man. Right. I did, because
it builds up your immunity.
Yeah. There are things that you don't think about because there's a common language.
Yeah.
Like you don't, and maybe some other people do, but I didn't. Dairy is processed differently in this country than it is in America. Not that that's a huge factor for me because I'm not a.
You're not a milkmaid.
No.
You refuse to put the outfit on.
I struggle with that. The wheat is processed differently. All
That's
processed food
Yeah,
is
yeah.
processed differently
Yeah.
into different standards.
Yeah.
I would say it's better here than in some parts of America.
Eggs.
Eggs.
We keep our eggs in the fridge.
Well, we do in America as well.
We don't keep our eggs in the fridge.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I do.
But there's all sorts of weird stuff that you're not prepared for, and it is a totally different environment. So you're going to be allergic to the plants, you're going to be allergic to the dust, whatever. And in the winter, you're going to get the full force of whatever, especially in a city, of whatever buggies.
Yeah, War of the Worlds was actually produced by the British Tourism Board. That is not true.
I dated a man specifically because he had a bathtub and I needed one.
I dated a girl who expressed the same thing. Well,
you mean she said she was only with you because you had a bathtub?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Really?
She was thrilled to see the bath.
They're hard.
They're hard to come by here. In London.
They are.
Yeah.
That's a very nice transition actually to Shane and Mert, isn't it? Because you might be thinking, whoa, even an apartment that's designed for two people, how can you just have one bathroom? I guess it's not that unusual.
Well,
listen,
if you live in New York, I'm sure you can dig, right?
Here's the bathroom situation here. I will never, as long as it's within my power to decide, I will never, ever live in a place with fewer than two bathrooms.
Gotta have a choice.
They don't have to be two full baths.
Right. Two toilets.
Two toilets.
Minimum, yeah.
Right?
When you gotta go, and you guys have experienced this, like and to be honest, I'm the same. It's just like different times of the day. When we record, those are her peak hours, and but then it's an hour for me later. But yeah, when you gotta go, and sometimes you don't even close out the pod because whoa, and partly the autism, right? You don't know you've got to go until you gotta go.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and if there's one toilet and little Alfie's on it, it ain't happening.
No, we've only lived in the time that we've lived together, we've only shared one flat, and that was a desperate situation.
Yeah, that was a bit bleak.
That was one bathroom. It was a lovely place, but there was only one bathroom, and it was downstairs behind the kitchen, and the bedrooms were upstairs.
Well,
so
no, when we first lived together was one bathroom as well, actually. Do you remember?
Not in Sherland.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That one bathroom up the stairs. Yeah. It's not very interesting for anyone else. We have done it twice. Never again. That was a nightmare. The one where it was downstairs behind the bathroom. It was sort of behind the kitchen. It was built an extension that was added. I was like, where was the bathroom before? It didn't make any sense to me.
Nobody knows.
But it was freezing cold, right? You'd have to walk through the cold kitchen in the winter into this freezing Oh, that was rough.
So we bought these.
We did. We bought chamber pots.
Yeah. We bought little camping toilets, not to go number twos in. No. All right. Obviously, get your minds out of the gutter.
It was liberating.
If you have to pee in the night, you pee in those. And I remember going to my bachelorette party, and I have this one very, very, very posh friend. And I was talking about, I don't remember how this came up, but I was talking about the the close quarters, over COVID. And this was after the regulations had been relaxed. So we were at a different friend of mine's house having a really, really fun bachelorette party. And my very posh friend, after hearing also that you and I were in the habit of taking our 5 minutes, as Shane and Mert would put it, we would do our 5 minutes in your little office. Right?
Where?
On the desk. We would, I think you're thinking you didn't get the reference. We would have an afternoon delight, a quick one.
On my desk?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Okay, well, I do. Okay. This isn't awkward at all.
No. All right, carry on.
Anyway, the reason I raised that is because she then said, oh my God, you're having a quickie at the desk and you're pissing into a chamber pot. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. And it was, she's like, I don't know whether I should be celebrating this wedding or bemoaning it.
Both those things sound wonderful to me. I go back to them both in a heartbeat. That sounds like
I
good
wouldn't.
times.
That was cold. Not as cold as you not remembering us having sex, but I guess I'm not that memorable after all.
I might be picturing the wrong house, that's all. I've got it all jumbled in my head.
I'm talking about the one that we lived in before this one.
Okay. All right.
Do you remember now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you say it louder so that people don't think I'm a cold fish or a starfish, rather?
Well, if I remember it too much, I'm going to knock this microphone over. So we better carry on.
All right. So Shane is getting the house ready. You put in a note that we should explain what the word manky is.
Yes. Who said? Did Shane say it's a bit manky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Manky's one of those brilliant British words. I think you can probably, it's one of those that you can work out what it is from how it's used.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, dingy, dirty, grubby. Our language is just tremendous. And I do think we use it best in this country rather than others. We've got so many words for, everyone always talks about, Inuits and snow, right? But for us, it's always how many words there are for sex and everything. But actually, I think we've got more words for dirty in this country than anything else. Like, minging. Right? But so many. And I'm not even going to list them now. But like manky is a particularly good one because manky's got a limp sadness to it as well. It's not just dirty, but it's manky. Right?
It can be confusing, though, because a mank
is someone from
differently
Manchester.
Is someone from
short for Mancunian.
Mancunian, yeah. So
and Manx means the Isle of Man.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think so. I forgive me if I got the island wrong, but I think so. Like a Manx cat.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
but that's not.
But they refer to themselves, I believe. You'd use it like you would use the word French. So I think you would say of something from the Isle of Man.
Like a Kiwi.
Yeah, it's of Manx origin. It's Manx. Yeah.
Similarly,
I think. Come at me if that's wrong.
A minger
right.
is not someone that's dirty. Although
well, things can be minging.
No, things and people can be minging.
But in
a
different
minger,
ways. A minger is someone who is unattractive.
Yes.
Something that is minging is gross and stinky, right?
Yeah.
Also unattractive, but in a different way. Oh, what a rich Dickens had it right. What a place to live. What a lexicon we have.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Waiting in for the ass man to come and fix the radiator.
I've seen that movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was so funny. That was so cute.
Yeah, it was great.
I love also that Shane talked about the dip in the bed.
Adorable.
Because we have a dip in our bed.
Well, we have a dip in our bed because huggy position A and huggy position B, both generally happen on my side of the bed. You're like a little limpet. You cling on for dear life. It's adorbs. I have no objection to any of that. But we've got a very big bed. And I do sometimes...
And it's still not big enough.
I still wonder what the point of it is, though, because we're always on the same side of it.
That's not true at all.
Okay.
The reason we have a giant bed is because I want to be...
You need the option when I'm going full ka-ka.
It's not even that. I don't want to be touched when I'm sleeping.
Me too, yeah.
Neither of us likes to be touched while we're sleeping.
I quite like butt to butt.
I do that for you to be nice.
Okay.
But I don't enjoy it unless it's really cold.
Yeah.
But I don't like... Yeah, nobody cares about what we do in bed.
I love the way she handled that, though. I love her comfort, the sort of breezy, and I love the fact that, the lockdown thing, because we've all been there. Just Shane's so damn relatable.
In a wonderful way.
In a wonderful way. It's such a rare thing that you get reality kind of cast members who you feel like you could go out for a drink with and immediately you'd be like you've known them for ages. It's just massively relatable. Human beings, real people.
I often forget that outside of this city, people are very nice.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'd love to. I think also we would be remiss if I wrote this down that even in a 3-bedroom house, like proper house, upstairs, downstairs, you can still end up with just one bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why real estate, one of the many reasons why real estate here is such a gosh darn bloody mare is because the agent will be like, what? It's everything you want. It's a 3-bedroom house. And I'm like, yeah. And there's no bathtub and there's one toilet.
Well, it's because most properties in cities in particular used to be much bigger properties that were divided.
Yeah.
Right? So,
no, I know why.
Sure. So they would have been 6-bedroom houses with 2 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms,
And
right?
they also used to have a toilet outside.
Sure. But everything's been turned into flats now. And so you can do without, you can have fewer, receptions and fewer bedrooms. But where it doesn't work is when you start halving bathrooms. I mean, because the pipes can't be halved. So the bathroom goes to one or the other.
As
right?
well we know.
As well we know. I wanted to having expressed rage at the Mercy thing, can I express absolute joy at Mert, again, names and me, yeah. His reaction to the house they're moving into was one of those moments that I find unbelievable. I don't expect, I wouldn't like it if the people who go over to another country were less than or should be grateful or anything because that dynamic's kind of a bit gross, right? And that dynamic's gross if that's why they're coming. And it's even grosser when people assume that's why they're coming, right? But if we can remove all of that and just have the raw, genuine, sincere moment like that where someone goes, I've won the lottery. This is wonderful. I never dreamed of this. This is just to see someone happy and contented and get everything they dreamed of on TV is so rare because drama apparently dictates that people have to be unsatisfied, right? That's where, but actually, I've said it before, I'll say it many more times to come, I'm sure. But if only the producers of these shows realize that we need at least 1 or 2 couples where it's just wonderful.
And it doesn't have to be wonderful throughout.
No, but please give me moments like this.
But give us a moment like that.
It was just beautiful.
Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like that. Some people search forever for that one special flat.
And what was brilliant about it is it's like he wasn't, oh, that's not so good, but this is really good. It's just everything. There was no caveats, no nothing, but just joie.
It was very moving.
Very, very
and
moving.
I loved it.
And it made me feel the way Katie and Alejandro made me feel last season. Yeah. And I live for that stuff.
And you're getting a bit tearful.
Yeah, a little bit tearful. I desperately hope that we don't get thrown any curveballs with them. I desperately hope that he actually finds life in the UK easier than how he had it back home. Not that there's anything wrong with back home, but it's pretty difficult, for non-heterosexual people, right?
Well, they've established that.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that he gets everything he dreamed of, because Shane is awesome. So that side of it, I reckon, is nailed down.
Yeah.
No curveballs, please, producers. And if you have to tell stories which aren't real because it makes better telly, can you just leave out any of the bad stuff with them? Because I don't want to see it.
I disagree. I think happy endings should be earned, and people, I always get.
Fine. I just don't want over-indexing on fake drama for them. That's what I'm saying. I think.
Sure, I hear that. As much as I appreciate it and value it, I often get uncomfortable when I see listeners comment that you and I are couple goals and that, they want some. I mean, absolutely don't settle and find someone who advocates for you and who will walk to the ends of the earth with the weight of 5 French bulldogs on their back.
Yeah.
And more for you. But please don't be as I'm saying it, it sounds really, I think I'll sound like an asshole either way, but I just want you to know that it is not, we have not had it easy as a couple.
No.
And that we've gotten to where we are.
Good grief.
We've gotten to where we are
someone at the door.
Because of what we've been through together, not in spite of it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everything that's been really hard just makes me love you more and makes me more proud of you when I see you get through things. And if I can help you get through things, that makes me love myself a bit more. So it's all good. And so, no, I'm not saying with them there shouldn't be any, because that would be awful and stupid, What I will say is and they did it again in this episode, right? Because he had the friend, and again, can't remember the name, but the friend started a little bit with the, you were a bit of an arsehole on the birthday. And he was, and everything. And so you expect the normal way these conversations go, the narratives, for one of them to shut down and for it to get hostile and fuck you there. And he gets up, he gives her a gift.
It was so sweet.
And goes, yeah, I was wrong. I'm really sorry about that. And let me show you who I think I am and who Shane loves.
Let me show you my heart.
Yeah.
And do you know what it's so brave to be that vulnerable. It takes such courage to reach out like that, knowing that person could reject you.
And that person's predisposed to be a little bit pissed off with you. That is the mark of a man. Now, I will just ask one question. How short do you think does she think he was?
I don't know. People look small on video calls, don't they? Second to last, let's give it a blast. Tion from Derby and David from Dominican Republic.
Okay. Got to be a little bit careful about this after my little rant earlier with Mercy, but I'm taking a similar line on this one, just a similar line, which is I know that she's been presented as a venal, greedy figure of hate, right? I don't think deep down that's who she is. In my experience, people that point out the labels they're wearing, it is very often a deflection for people to actually really examine who they are. And that usually comes from a place of hurt rather than something bad. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, don't look at me, don't judge me, judge my Canada Goose coat, right? And so I just wonder whether that's really what's at play here. And I'm just saying, I don't want to fall into the trap of let's all hate on someone for this. Is that too kind?
No. I don't disagree with you about the reliance on labels part. I'm sure that if you live with your mom and you get paid by commission and you're a good salesperson and you have no outgoing expenses, I'm sure you can spend all your money on clothes and afford that kind of thing. And I love fashion every bit as much as the next gal. I mean, for me, it's shoes. I'm not, you know.
But it's the fact that, like, she bangs on about it. I need this. This is who I am and everything. I think it's all it's what's it called in magic? That distraction. It's the prestige.
Sleight of hand. Oh, okay.
I think it's so that you don't really examine her. Having said that, good grief. Like, if I take this story on its own terms, we've seen this story so many times before, but like, this was a particularly extreme, egregious version of that story.
She's really young, though.
Yeah.
She's really young.
Yeah.
She's 21.
That surprised you. You were like, "Whoa! I didn't realize she was 21." Yeah,
I thought she was 25.
She's a girl.
Maybe she's a child, and she's. I don't feel great about him either. Normally in this dynamic, I side with the person who is, for all intents and purposes, being bought.
Yeah. But at least they don't usually get shamed for them not being able to buy you back. It does remind me of Danielle and Johan in that sense, right? Like, I'm buying you, but you should be able to buy me, right?
I think that, look, the similarities end there. Yeah. I find... sorry, I'm in such a bad mood talking about these people. I don't understand. The crying seemed very fake and performative to me, and that scared me. That felt like a very specific kind of manipulation, and it horrified me. So I don't think we're dealing with a pair of angels here or star-crossed lovers.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy, and yeah, I'll say
it's so weird.
I don't enjoy a person of humble means being humiliated over what they can or cannot buy.
Sure.
I get no satisfaction from that. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me, reflect on how lucky I am. It just makes me sick that it's on television, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Unless that person is a white American heterosexual male, in which case, with an outsized opinion of himself, then yes, bring it on.
I mean, it was satisfying to watch Paul consistently fail and fail and fail, right, and not be able to provide a roof over the head. But actually, even that ended up just feeling squalid and tragic. Yeah.
That was like hillbilly elegy.
Yeah.
Gruesome almost. That was like a Harmony Korine film.
Anyway, these two are like the flip side of Shane and Mert. Like all of the feel good joie is just completely flipped. It's like it's a storyline that's meant to, even the editing of her going, it's got to be this ring. It can't be any other ring. And then him going, I can only afford the cubic zirconia, which is exactly what she said she would never. And it's like, okay, this has been scripted by the
you know what? It probably hasn't. Who cares? I liked her grandmother who said that when you marry, you have to compromise. It's give and take. Those are very wise words.
Sure.
You do have to compromise. And again, we have someone with a clear passion and a talent for salsa dancing, which this girl finds sexually inappropriate and she doesn't like it. And I don't give a fuck that she doesn't like it.
No.
If she doesn't like it, she doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, but she doesn't get to stop him doing it.
But you don't get
because he did it before he met her. And if you don't like, you can't just say, I like 60% of this person, so I'll take that. If there's, no one has the right to change things. You might evolve things and guide them in a certain direction, I suppose, but you can't just say you've got to stop this and this and this. Like, find someone else who doesn't have those triggers for you. There's plenty of other people out there.
Yeah.
Just find someone who doesn't do things you find repulsive. That is a really good start. I would suggest when you're starting a relationship. Does this person think or do things you find objectionable? If so, swipe left.
But here are the kinds of things, and it is age dependent also, I think, or experience dependent even. There are some things, like for me, I have extremely poor executive skills when it comes to organizing. Now, I can organize a trial bundle and I can, organize a brief. I can't organize the room that we're sitting in, and evidently neither can you. But that is never going to change about me.
Right.
I also need for things to be hygienically clean without necessarily being able to tidy, right? That's something that's not going to change. However, my spending habits are something that I have changed.
Yeah.
My hoarding is something that I have changed. You have kindly picked up the slack in that department. You're getting annoyed with me, but people have seen The Viper's Nest. And every day there's a new Amazon package, and I know exactly what's in it.
Every one of those ands is sacred. Right, we've got one more.
Do you or do you not agree that some habits and behaviors can be changed?
Yes.
But others ought not to be changed.
Yes.
Here's a spoiler alert. Cheating is one of those things that's, if it's in you, it's in you. And it's always going to be there. Okay? Know that about yourself. Know that about other people.
Oh, Guy, yes, you're right. And then you're not right, because people can grow up. So Statler, as an example.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to throw that at her just because she's cheated in the past, because I am absolutely confident she can have a relationship and not cheat.
No, but if you're in a relationship with someone right now...
Oh, they're cheating on you right now.
Who's cheating on you?
Yeah,
they're going to cheat on you again.
Yeah, that will definitely happen.
And if you think, oh, they're an alcoholic, they'll get sober and they won't cheat. Nope, they'll cheat twice as much.
Yeah.
Trust me. All right. That was a Jurassic noise from the baby bulldog.
Hey, did you all out there see the baby giraffe that's just been born without any spots? Pause this podcast, hit up your browser of choice and Google baby giraffe no spots. It's mind-blowing.
And speaking of unique babies, moi babber, moi lover, should we go to Gloucester?
Yeah.
Today...
That was a bit more Somerset, though.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Fred West was from Gloucester, though, wasn't he?
We were listening to a podcast the other day. I think it might have been Last House on the Left. It was an old one. And they'd just been over in the UK and they were like, there are 5 accents.
Yeah. There's a good deal more than that.
No, you need to consult your My Fair Lady immediately. Your Pygmalion immediately.
There are lots of terrible YouTube videos with people who can't do all the British accents or do them very poorly.
Got a British accent. So you got your London, you got your Scotland, and that's just all it is. It's like, no. Again, it's a little bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah, a lot more. Right, but the reason why Louise is so hard to imitate, and again,
You can't do it without the visual.
You can't do it without the visual, but there is that hint of the West Country accent in
Just
there.
A soupçon.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit, and I can't do that in a subtle way.
No,
I've either got to go full Fred West.
Or you got a brand new combine service. It's that, yeah. Yeah, it's a tiny bit of that, and it's a tiny bit of Thames Valley Estuary English as well.
Yes.
Right? And it's where those two things collide like a motorway pile-up. Then you get Louise.
Beautiful part of the country.
Sure.
I'd live there in a heartbeat.
Actually, we've had a few beautiful parts just in these episodes. Yeah, some nice places this year. Better than last year. More varied.
I don't think I've been anywhere. What's in Derbyshire?
Derby.
Okay, not been there.
Cousin Dan will correct me because I always get this wrong, but I think that is your Peak District.
Okay.
I think. And yeah, it's very Wuthering Heightsy.
Okay.
Not that I think that's set there, but think of those kinds of wild landscapes with the, kind of big heathy moors and hills.
Out on the wild and windy moors, we'd roll and fall in green. You had a temper like my jealousy, too hot, too greedy. I'm about 4 keys beneath what it should be, but I don't think they're ready for Wuthering Heights yet.
Now can you do that as Jose?
No.
A little rap. What do you think of his rap?
I hated it.
2 million followers on Instagram.
What did you think of his outfit for his video? What did you think of the
Larry Grayson
teddy coat
sunglasses
and glasses?
Yeah, which only Brits will get, and only Brits of a certain age will get. I quite like that little dangly thing underneath. The only person in modern culture I can think who had the dangly glasses thing. Well, what was the name of the kind of trollish monster in Monsters Inc. who sat at reception? Can you picture her?
All of those movies are the same to me.
Okay, without checking,
sorry,
I think she had the little glasses chain. So someone out there, hopefully I'm right, and someone out there just weed themselves. It was quite a thing, wasn't it? The best thing is the way he was using Louise's crutch. That was incredible.
That was hilarious.
That was like Morrissey levels. You know how Morrissey used to wear a hearing aid? Are you familiar with that?
I thought everyone did. I thought I thought it's a monitor.
No, not in-ear monitors. No, he used to actually wear a hearing aid.
Why?
Just as an affectation.
What?
Just to different times. As a kind of association or empathy with the downtrodden in society.
No.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, it isn't.
Yeah, but you look at it now, you're like, that's super gross. But that was the kind of thing people did in the 80s. In the 1980s. But that's kind of what I thought he was doing. He was like, I too am wounded.
Well, there's no sun or beach or hot girls around. Although there's
one.
There is one girl who is dressed in maternity lingerie, which is or shapewear, that's nice that exists.
Do you mind if I do this entire section in my pajamas? She called them her pajamas.
Except she never asks anybody anything. She's just gonna.
Yeah. No, that's right. She'd never say,
I will be doing this in my pajamas. I will be doing this because this is how these videos are shot.
Yeah. Not in any way trying to promote my Instagram account where this is what I wear in all my photos.
Again, she looks absolutely miserable in every single photo.
I know. There was, I think it's probably all right. I was a young man. Pornography was very, very different back in the day. And back in the day, the sort of magazines us young schoolboys might manage to get our hands on or we'll find in a bush or something, they were like readers' wives pages. And and it was always very sad looking women and it's awful. I look at it now and I'm just like, this isn't okay. But it was sad looking women who would probably be made to do it by their husbands, who got some sort of weird vicarious, like now, like the internet's full of like cuck porn, right? And I guess maybe it was the same thing. Like you want to show, it was
those ladies never looked like they wanted to be
there. They never looked like they wanted to be there. And for me, she channels Escort magazine from the late 80s.
Yikes. So look, the grand reveal was made at lunch last week, which is so depressing. I don't even want to. Of course, he failed the English test.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other grand reveal. There were two. I think he should have had like a pass your exam reveal party. That would have been really good fun, right? Instead of like the gender of the baba, if he'd like popped a balloon and it's either like sort of pass or fail for his exam, that would have been really good.
That's awful. That's terrible.
Oh, fail. Yeah, not a huge surprise. Although again, the Delight, who is cousin Dan, did tell us you need to have the English ability of a 5-year-old child to pass that.
Yep, and one word answers are acceptable.
Absolutely fine.
There's no, like, spelling doesn't count. There's no written component.
It's all oral. Having said that,
if you, by the way, sorry, this is a legitimate interruption because I need to say this before I forget. If you're wondering why Richard from season 1's spoiler alert now, Kathleen didn't pass her English exam. The English exam that she had to take was for working for the National Health Service, which is a much higher threshold and requires a knowledge of common English phrases like spend a penny and things like that you would use in a hospital.
Right. Also, in the medical profession, your handwriting has to be completely indecipherable, so they need to test for that.
Yeah, they need to make sure
no one can understand it. So yeah, totally different. So yeah, one word answer is absolutely fine, but that doesn't mean you can provide any one word as your answer. No. It can't just be chicken, you know.
No, again,
knowing one word, that isn't what it is. You need to know more than one word.
Again, there's a lot going on here that I'm not okay with. I think unless this is an act, which I don't think they are good enough actors for it to be an act.
I don't know.
I'm concerned about whether there's learning difficulties there.
Sure.
I'm concerned.
He does seem like an overgrown 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know?
there's a lot of I don't think that Louise particularly understands that her shouting
just saying
like this, just saying the same thing.
You've got to pass this test because otherwise you won't be there for the baba. How many times is she going to say that? Until eventually, weirdly, she's incredibly patient in a really...
If I say it slowly and louder, will you understand it better?
Yeah. It's good. It's just the same thing again and again and again.
It's the same thing.
Nothing changes.
Speaking of which...
But the hilarity is that she thinks that it will change with him. And it's like, just to see Jessie increasingly go, oh, it's painful.
It feels very dark, and it feels... It feels like... It honestly feels to me... And again, I have no way of proving this. I think she knows it's a non-starter. I don't think she gives a shit whether... I think if he stayed, she wouldn't involve him with the baby at all. Why would she do that when she has Jessie?
I think she, again, I don't know her full history. We do now know that she has many children.
We don't know that.
We believe
that's alleged.
Okay. I think she could raise a child just fine on her own, and I think she's done it before.
And I think she's willing to do it again.
Yeah.
Although this time she'd be raising 2 children.
Right.
This is a very American thing, so I doubt this will make any sense to you, but we had to in 7th grade, we had to babysit bags of flour.
I mean, we don't do that here, I don't think, but I've seen it many times on American TV shows.
Okay. Yeah.
The episode where the girls, actually sometimes it's the boys as well, have to keep a sack of potatoes alive, right?
At my school, it was a bag of flour.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust Jose with a bag of flour.
If that's what he does with balloons, if he got the whole point of balloons is that they are the lightest imaginable things, right? If you can't get 2 of them to stick to a wall, what was he using? Was he using blue tack? And I don't know what blue tack's called in the States. Was he using tape? Was he just literally pushing the balloons against the wall and hoping that the force would make it stick or something?
You weren't more concerned that he was holding them up to hot light bulbs?
Sure. That's a secondary concern.
Oh, brother.
He literally cannot do anything. It is great TV. So fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
No,
I do enjoy it.
It's not so depressing that I can't watch it in the way that...
I don't feel that he's being abused or taken advantage of. Particularly. But maybe now I start to worry about his developmental status. It does sort of ring a few alarm bells. But I don't feel that there's any kind of imperialism going on, at least.
Can I say something that's going to get me in trouble?
Yeah. Rather you than me.
I have a problem with gender reveal parties.
You do. And to be fair, you have always felt this way.
It's not new.
No.
People very close to me have had gender reveal parties. No one in my family, but in my chosen family, people have chosen to have gender reveal parties.
And you accept this is your problem, not theirs, right? I think.
Definitely not. It's definite. Okay. Here is the gender reveal that I accepted. Okay. I have a friend. She was pregnant during COVID.
Yeah.
Her parents are elderly.
Yeah.
When you have this is a medical term, geriatric pregnancy, you can get blood tests early on to see whether the fetus is in possession of female genitalia or male genitalia. And so and it was her first child. So she and her husband had just their parents on Zoom and they cut a cake. That's fine because they can't be with their families and they can't. That I don't have a problem with. What I do have a problem with is a step and repeat.
Yeah.
Particularly egregious if it's not your first child. I don't want to see a step and repeat. I don't want to see confetti everywhere. I don't want to see one stack of pink cupcakes, one stack of blue cupcakes. They're both cheap and taste like shit. I don't want to see, we're going alcohol free for this. I don't want to see fireworks. I don't want to see explosives of any kind. I don't want to see other people's children. I don't want to see your children if you have other children.
Uh-huh.
It's not just that it's tacky.
Uh-huh.
It's that it's pointless.
Because you can just tell people.
No, because gender is a social construct.
Oh.
And the child that you have is going to have a gender identity that either matches what they were born with or doesn't match what they were born with or is something else entirely. And as a society, we should be moving toward...
But this is the thing. At that age, right, in utero, there is no characteristic known other than the gender. Right? There's nothing. You don't know if they're smart, if they're funny, if they're tall, if they're short. You might have an idea of size, maybe.
So when it does something...
So the only thing you know is gender. But it's really fascinating that even before you're born, you're already put in a shoebox, in a pigeonhole.
That's what I'm saying. I
completely agree with that. And in a day and age when we're supposed to be trying to think about gender a little differently, the fact that we're actually ascribing gender to people before they're even born. And, so now the nursery will be decorated in this color and it's always blue for a boy and pink for all of those things.
Did you know that it wasn't always?
No, go
on. Pre-Christianity, actually not even pre-Christianity. So, how, I don't know how well you know your Catholic icons, but in most Catholic and Christian imagery, Mary, as in the mother of Jesus, is wearing blue.
Okay.
So blue used to represent...
Right. And nuns were
the
blue.
Female, correct.
Yeah.
Used to represent the female energy, and pink or red represented the male energy.
Now, it's also a class thing, because posh young English boys always wore pink back in the day.
Ernest Hemingway's mother dressed him as a girl until he was 5, I think.
Again, that's another thing, particularly for the sort of higher classes in this country, that the boys would be dressed as girls when they were young. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. These are all our ideas about gender are very, very modern and a little bit like the whole De Beers diamond thing, which we think like diamonds have always had. Diamonds are an invention. Diamonds are worth fuck all. There are massive great caverns in Africa full of diamonds, absolutely teeming with them. And De Beers let out a few every year to artificially keep the price high, right? Because scarcity is high. But diamonds are not rare. They're just released. They're drip fed. It's a bit like Yeezy trainers.
Well,
the whole diamond thing is bullshit, is what I'm saying. And again, it was an invention in the 1900s. It wasn't always that way. They've always been prized, but there's a whole new thing that goes along with it. And the same for the way we think about gender these days. It's just a modern thing. It will change. It is beginning to change, and obviously people don't like that. But what you're holding on to something thinking it's always been that way, and it hasn't always been that way at all.
Also, how many parties do you need for a baby?
Oh, right.
I'm just saying, you have a baby shower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I know baby showers are celebrating the mom or the dad, okay? Or both moms or both dads, okay? Fine. You can have a baby shower. I'm allowing you to have a baby shower. I don't have a problem with that.
Write that down.
Having a baby is expensive. I have no problem with baby showers.
For sure.
Why do you need a baby shower, a gender reveal, a christening, a naming ceremony? Why do you need 450,000 things? And then I'm supposed to send the kid a gift on every one of their birthdays as well?
Yeah.
So you're involving me in a decision that I haven't made.
Yeah, I didn't want you to have kids.
I didn't want you to have kids. You've ruined our friendship.
I think you're going to be a terrible mother.
It's not even that.
No, I know what you're saying.
You know, why are people so precious about
geometry.
that?
It's like New Year. It's.
But you know what? People are more than happy to shit all over weddings.
People do. You're right. Oh, God, if I have to go to another wedding. No, you're right. You're right. Gender reveal parties are much more tiresome because it's not really a surprise. It's one of two things. Okay, how surprised are you really going to be? Like, if you came out with something new, something original, that might be interesting.
You know what I want to celebrate? In fact, if you're in the, I almost said reality bays. If you're in the Blighty Day Bays group or the Sissy Squad.
Sure.
You know, I want to hear about your personal accomplishments outside the realm of hatches, matches, and dispatches. Okay? I'm not saying, particularly if you are fertility challenged and that's been a difficult thing for you, or like us, you've been treated poorly by an adoption agency, all of those things.
And of course, these things are a huge landmark in people's lives.
Yes, and I'm not saying you don't deserve. Look, you deserve a party if you're having a baby, okay? You deserve, but not a gender reveal party because that's not about you. It isn't about you, okay? I know you need it to be about you. It's not. Here's what I do want to celebrate. I want to celebrate you owning a home, becoming a homeowner for the first time. I want to celebrate your master's degree. I want to celebrate your PhD. I want to celebrate your child's high school graduation.
Yeah. I was kind of joking before when I was like, he should have had a party for whether he passed his test or not. But I would rather actually people have parties for I got the promotion or I didn't get the. I mean, when you look at it like that, it's absurd. Just tell people you got the promotion. And the same with gender, right? Just tell people the gender. But why do we do it for that one thing? We don't do it for anything else.
I'm celebrating your promotion. I'm celebrating your PhD. I'm celebrating your master's. I'm celebrating your GED. I'm celebrating your driver's license. I'm celebrating your mom's driver's license. I'm celebrating your citizenship. I'm celebrating your remission from cancer. I'm celebrating your accepting that your decision that you're not going to seek treatment for the cancer. I'm celebrating you home. All right?
But do these things have to be revealed? It's the I have information.
Reveal them.
Yeah, but just say it. But the notion of a reveal is we know something you don't.
Except annoyingly, they often don't know that either.
How do you mean? Oh,
because
what,
it's
they don't know themselves.
There's confetti inside. I'm surprised you did. You didn't stay awake for her hour-long
We don't even know ourselves. It's going to come as quite a surprise.
Just like I was surprised by the fact that I got pregnant as soon as I got my what's-it taken out of my what's-it.
Even though that was the plan when I was over there to get pregnant. And we even spoke about it, didn't we? Celebrate yourselves, kids. We celebrate you.
We celebrate you.
We do.
We love you. And I'm going to take out my own IUD and throw it in her fucking face.
All right, I'm going to pick out the pieces. Love you guys. We will see
you soon.
Whoa. Hang on a second before we let you go. If you're watching 90 Day Last Resort, be sure to subscribe to Little Miss Recap. Little Miss Recap. Our pal Amanda is co-hosting with Amy Archer. You are going to love it. Whatever your podcasting app of choice is, go to it, type in the searchy thing, Little Miss Recap, and make sure you subscribe. Cheers.